What is the major reason that you have decided to stay in this job since you were working so hard to get out of it?
I'd always indicated there were a number of personal reasons. Finance were only one of those reasons. There were some other reasons within my own life. I feel most of those things have been resolved, and I feel at this particular point there are enough projects going, enough things going for this agency that I'd like to pursue for some longer time.
We have, since this report, we have opened up a window in Wichita Falls on Saturday that previously had been closed, and that is another change that we have made as a result of the report. I've stated before, we'd be delighted to correct anything brought to our attention, and this is one of the things we did not know it was happening.
Certainly, originally, Mr. Purcell said that the word came down and that it was a verbal order to this region to save money, quote, any way you can, unquote. Did you get such an order, or
No.
did you forward such an order?
No, we were told to manage, when I came here in March, to manage the Dallas region to the best of my ability, and that I've been trying to do.
I hope that Governor Conley, coming in as Secretary of the Treasury, will not be entranced by words called conservative or moderate, but rather will be willing to lend his voice and his very great influence to getting this economy moving again. This is where we were in 1960. John Kennedy had to ask the country to get the country moving again, and that's exactly what we've got to do. So I look at the appointment this way, that Mr. Conley is a very able man. We know that. He's a man that's been gifted with many talents. He surely will have a better relationship with many members of the Congress than his predecessor, Mr. David Kennedy. Will bring to the consuls of the administration some good, solid sense. This country's in trouble.
saving the taxpayers' money by tightening up our operations. But I have the responsibility for running these regions, these states, the Dallas region.
The report concludes that postal patrons in Texas, as a result of the managed mail processing program and present personnel policies as implemented by the Dallas region and its subordinates, have experienced delays in the delivery of mail originating in Texas and all other areas of the country. However, the problem is compounded further in Texas since the policy of reduced Saturday and weekend service has been exercised solely in the Dallas region. Mr. Crawford told us that his economic policies in this district are working, but that they are getting better service, even though they are saving money. When Mr. Crawford came into office in March of this year, he says the $458 million operating budget had a deficit of $1.6 million. As of this month, it has a surplus of $4 million. That is at least economy. About this report, Mr. Crawford also said that when we handed it to him today, it was the first time he had seen it, although the cover letter is dated October 26th. It's no wonder that the Dallas Regional Office has had no comment until today. This is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News, on the move.
I want to announce now to the staff that I will present a proposal to the Board of Directors on Thursday to adopt a contract employing Bennett as the permanent director of this agency until December 31st, 1971. I personally think that the condition that the agency is in right now is a very good, it's making steady progress, and it would be quite unhealthy for the agency to change directors at this time, and I'm most pleased that Bennett has decided to change his mind and continue his directorship until at least December 31st of next year.
I understand there have
As of now, he has submitted his resignation effective that date.
I think there will be some congestion. It would be impossible to handle this many vehicles without some form of congestion. But based upon our review of all the stadiums across the nation, we believe that we have the best facility that has yet been devised for getting people in and out.
Could you tell me some of the things that have been done?
Well, for the last 3 years, we've been working on it. We started off working with the Texas Highway Department. They've been very cooperative toward the planning and working with us in this regard, and due to this cooperation, we have a total new system of ramps, both onto the site and out of the site onto the freeways.
You make the progress of the Texas Stadium sound so smooth, and there's no problems at all?
Well, there are always problems, but we are all working together on this matter with the goal of building the finest facility that has ever been built for the spectator for sports or other activities. And we have this as our goal, therefore problems become rather small when we're all working together.
It seems like every week it's something different for him. This week it's the hand, and it feels all right. I went to the doctor yesterday, and he said that just as long as I didn't re-bruise it or anything the rest of the week, that it'd be fine. I think he plans to leave the stitches in throughout the game in case it would crack open again, but I don't think I'll have any problem at all with it.
Will you actually go through passing drills this week?
Yeah, I think I'll start passing on Wednesday and see how it feels then, and I'm sure it'll be all right. So I'm not anticipating any problem at all with it. It's in a position where it really doesn't affect my grip of the ball, so that's really all that counts, and it'll be all right.
I would suppose also, though, that the snap from the center, it hits right on where the cut occurred.
Well, I think by the time Sunday comes along, which will probably be the first day I take any snaps at all, the tenderness will probably be out of it. So, again, I don't really think it'll be too much of a factor at all. The way I've been throwing lately, something's got to improve, and so it really is not going to have any effect on anything.
Craig, do you have any idea what the problem is in passing? I know you were telling me Sunday night after the game, or Saturday night in Cleveland, that you really didn't know where the ball was going.
Well, on a game like that, with when you get the ball up from center and there's mud all over the ball, you really don't know what position the ball to handle. But everybody's kind of been complaining a little bit about our passing attack. I don't think it's that bad. It's probably number 5 or 6 in the league, which is not really that bad considering we have such a strong running game. And of course, with our defense playing such fantastic ball, I think it's good enough to get us through whatever we want to get through.
There will be the inevitable comparisons, Mr. Morton, that you're going to be matching Jerry Rome this week. Have you given any thought to that at all?
Well, I just like to, no, not at all. I think Jerry's probably really excited about playing against us. I think that if I was in his position, I would be too. As far as playing against Jerry, there's no real personal
animosity.
No, not at all. I think that I'm playing against the Houston defense, and of course we've got to win this game. And I wish Jerry all the luck in the world. I just hope that he comes up a little second best.
I don't think so. I think they've no doubt had quite a bit of experience, but I think also some men have stayed on the fire department that have just about as much experience as those removed.
Do you have any reasons for having removed those?
If I what?
Have you given any reasons for having removed the 5 that have been dismissed?
No, sir. The only reason that I had for removing them was the fact that I want the fire department to function like I think it should, and like I think the city council wants it, and like I think will be the better for this city.
Chief Stank told us that he could not effectively operate the fire department with with the men you had left him. Do you have any reaction to that?
I don't know what he was referring to. We have more men in the fire department. I'm speaking of actual firemen right now than what Chief Stank has ever had.
It wouldn't have any effect because we're planning one of the world's largest airports. And any world's largest airport just automatically contemplates supersonic and hypersonic airplanes. And so we're planning our airport around those future airplanes.
The FBI and the Dallas Police Department were both here on the scene immediately. We do have an alarm system where they were notified, and they're both investigating and asking questions now. I talked to the teller momentarily, and the police department does have a good description. I believe they are putting it out, but I do not know myself. I was told that he didn't have a mask or anything like that, so he was clearly seen. I believe he had an overcoat on, they said.
I understand the man's pictures are on their way out of the back room right now.
Right, we do have cameras which do take pictures, and pictures were taken, and they should be going to be developed right now.
The automobile insurance system in Texas is a rotten mess. The board's action in increasing the profit formula approximately 250% merely compounds that rotten mess. Under our system, there is no inducement, no incentive for insurance companies to be efficient, to cut expenses, or to do a better job. No one can sell for less than the board's set price. This is like building a house at cost plus 10%. The more the cost, the more the profit.
had the fortune of spending 9 years out in the great state of Texas in the Southwest Conference, and certainly I'm looking forward to many more happy and successful years like those were. I think that TCU, I've always had the greatest respect in the world for TCU, and I know that I recruited in this area, and I know that they get fine athletes, and of course this is what I'm interested in as far as having a winning football team. This is what it takes. You have to have the real fine athletes, and they've got a lot of them out here, and of course it's real pleasing to be associated with a conference again. You know, we're an independent, and makes it real tough year in, year out when you have from 6 to 7 new opponents on your schedule. Where you're associated with a conference, you're going to have 7 games that are, you know, the same every year. And then you'll pick up some, pardon?
Go ahead. I'm just clowning.
Then you'll pick up some out-of-conference opponents. But I know Jane and I both are real pleased and real happy, and we're looking forward to many happy years at TCU.
Well, I think, of course, the primary mistake that the military made was initially when they went in believing that they could win the war in a very short period of time, believing that military force, if exerted strongly enough and otherwise properly, could win a war which is essentially a guerrilla war involving many elements other than purely military.
You describe yourself as a hawk. Why do you do so in the increasingly dovish age?
Well, I don't care whether the age is increasingly dovish or not. I have to weigh what I know, and I have to decide what I believe is best. And I don't believe that the United States can withdraw within its own borders and ignore the rest of the world and not eventually be destroyed itself.
Well, a gentleman walked into the teller, and he asked her could she change a $50 bill, and she said yes, and she gave him change for it. And immediately after giving the change, well, he shoved the case up to her, which was a leather case, and says unzip it and fill it up, and says don't say a word.
Where did he go when he left here?
He immediately left the side door.
And went to?
He went down as far as the bus station, and that's as far as they saw him.
What's the physical description?
He was about 5'10", and he was a white male, about 37, 38 years old.
Any estimate of the loss?
Not at this time.
Any tentative identification on the man?
No, sir, not at this time.
Jerry, what happened?
The engine failed on final approach at landing here at Addison Airport and had to make a forced landing before obtaining the runway.
Where were you approximately in the sky as this happened?
About a quarter of a mile southeast of Addison Airport.
What procedure did you take when you realized that you had lost your power?
At that point, I picked out the best available place to land the aircraft, since I saw that I could not make the runway, and put it down in this place as you see here.
As we look at this aircraft crumpled up like it is, how do you feel?
Well, I feel very lucky.
Starting in January, this Xerox duplicating machine in the Tarrant County Auditor's Office, now rented from the Xerox company by Tarrant County, will cost less money. Thanks to a year-long effort by County Purchasing Agent Ed Smith and a year-long battle with the Xerox Corporation of Rochester, New York, I asked Mr. Smith to tell how the battle went and what it was all about.
We have requested, through many efforts from this department, to cause Xerox to offer to Tarrant County, because we are a political subdivision of the state of Texas, the same price structure that they're offering to the state of Texas. In a meeting yesterday, this has been consummated, and effective the 1st of January, Tarrant County, along with other counties and cities, municipalities in the state of Texas, will benefit from this effort, reducing their cost about 19%.
The decision by the Xerox Corporation is a sweeping one, reaching all the way from New Mexico to Florida, and affecting every county, city, school district in the state of Texas. For Tarrant County, it saves $10,000. Xerox will lose $1.6 million on the whole region, and maybe more when the final returns are in. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
We're in the midst right now in our business of an insurance crisis caused by the lack of available coverage. We need an expanding automobile insurance market necessary to fulfill the needs of the insurance buying public in Dallas. And we're unable at this time to fulfill the needs of our customers. If adequate rates are not established in Dallas soon, we're going to be in bad shape.
The situation boils down to two major points. What is the true financial status of the companies, and should it be state policy that the companies be guaranteed a profit margin, which on this formula would be in the vicinity of 10%? On November 18th, the State Insurance Board agreed that there should be this profit margin, and unless they change that policy, then it means that your insurance rates will average an increase of approximately 20% or so in the next year. There'll be another hearing tomorrow in Houston. The decision is to be made by January 1st. However, there already are predictions that there may be court hearings by either side if the rates are set too high or too low. Also, the legislature will have many insurance changes to deal with in the upcoming session. This is Rosser McDonald, Channel 8 News on the Move.